Thank you for taking the time. Do you mind introducing yourself so that the audience knows who you are?
Yeah, happy to do. I'm Gabriel Indalecio. I've been in the IT industry more than 30 years. And right now I'm the Senior Vice President of Worldwide Revenue Operations for NetApp.
Thank you, Gabriel. So, Gabriel, you have had an amazing career so far. Microsoft, Google, NetApp. You are something of a legend in the go-to-market operations space. So what advice would you give to the future Gabriel Indalecio who is just starting in the go-to-market space, and they have AI tools, they have all these challenges to grow in the environment that is not necessarily very conducive to growth? What should they be prioritizing? How should they be thinking about what's important and what to focus on?
Hey, thank you, Max, for the question. This is what I will do. I will go back to the early Gabriel, to the young Gabriel, and then apply what I have learned on my career. And this is what I will tell to the young Gabriel. One, change is a constant activity that's happened. And that's implied that the concept of keep learning, ensuring that we become a challenger and we challenge the status quo, and you take always a positive reaction when you will get in question, when you will get in suggestion is very important. But let me go a little bit more clear down. We know technology has evolved. I never have imagined as a young Gabriel will be at this point of time. I cannot imagine as well what is going to be the technology, the benefits, the support that we're going to have. And keeping that open mind to be sure that we're taking advantage of technology is very important to improve and drive the operational components on that. Second is the challenge mentality. We shall not be on the comfort zone. We believe that in operation, always there is something that we can do better. The important piece of the challenge mentality is to identify that something that you are going to push the envelope, you are going to improve the process, you are going to provide better insight, you are going to have better answer, and you're going to increase the customer mindset. Because yes, this small continuous improvement makes a big improvement for the entire organization. The third one will be, I have articulated, is try to learn, have the curiosity. Everything that happens in our environment requires that you invest qualitative time to understand and imagine how you can take the advantage of those elements on your job to provide better benefit into your organization. And you are keeping that curiosity, that open mindset, that learning curiosity. I'm pretty sure you will find a way to get that learning that apply to your organization. And then the last piece that I mentioned is always have challenge the status quo and have the positive environment. If you start all the meetings saying, how I can help you, or yes, I will do my best to find a way to solve that problem, change completely the relationship that you have with the sales organization, marketing organization, finance, process, procurement, because you show genuine interest to put the customer at the center. And for sales operation, the customer at the center might be the sales organization, might be the go-to-market organization. And that will be telling the young Gabriel that keep in mind that if you combine those elements, you will be able to progress because keeping the customer at the center, getting the curiosity, taking the advantage of what happened in your environment from a technology, and try to fit what you are learning in an improvement for your company. It will make the company to progress faster. And we know that our company, our teams, the organization that we are leading or we are working for, make progress. You are part of that journey as well.
Thank you, Gabriel. So does it mean that technology today is more important than it used to be when you started? And if the answer is yes, so then there must be something that it has become less important. So what is it that is less important than it used to be when you started?
That's a good question, but I would love to balance your statement because it's not that technology become more important. It's technology play an important role. And then if you equalize that with the human factor about having the ability to leverage the technology for your advantage is where you have the force multiplier. If we go back 30 years, technology had the limitations, but then the human element was complementing that. Today, the technology is huge, vast, it's unimaginable, but the human component to really understand how that huge amount of technology available, you will be able to consume, adjust to your environment is equally important. For me, those two elements, the technology element that continue growing and the ability of the human to continue consuming the technology is equally important.
And how do I balance the human component and the technology and the challenger mentality that you talked about? Because challenger mentality requires a very careful balance and delicacy in how you approach this. So how do I maintain this balance? How do I keep the human connection, the human component, without deprioritizing the technology part? Because a lot of people would think they're kind of, almost mutually exclusive.
The willingness to take risks and the willingness to, when you fail, get that learning and apply is super important. To have a challenger mentality, do that balance act between technology and evolve, becomes a challenger, it requires that your willingness to take risks in a controlled space. Obviously, we have an obligation to our shareholders, we have an obligation to a company, we have an obligation to an employees, and we need to be very thoughtful on what is the level of risk that we want to take. But as soon as you make that decision, the other important piece is the willingness to learn when you fail and you're taking the risk, because we know that we grow by taking the experience and the learning environment to the next level. And that's what makes us more effective as an organization or more effective as a leader as well.
Got it. So given your experience leading go-to-market operations for Microsoft, Google, NetApp, how has your leadership philosophy evolved, especially around driving sales transformations through operational excellence?
I will go back 2 companies before. The first one is at Microsoft. My leadership philosophy was centered on establishing a culture and consistency. Microsoft business was massive and complex. So operational excellence means driving predictability on the business, scalability of the process, and alignment across a global organization. What I learned at that point of time, it was how important it is to have a discipline on the rhythm of the business and have an operating model as the foundation for the transformation. But then, in another company, Google Cloud, the priority shifted. The company was in a high growth, scale-up mode, and operational excellence. It was not about rigidity. It was about enablement, agility, and speed. My philosophy evolved or adjusted to be focused on experimenting, drive speed, leveraging data and insights in a more forward-looking ways. I lean it into change management, coaching the leaders to embrace the ambiguity while still delivering outcomes that it was needed to sustain that high growth. And at NetApp, I brought those 2 lessons together. Operational excellence is not only about the rigor or agility, it's about orchestrating both to drive transformation. And my philosophy now is to build trust and alignment across sales, marketing, finance, product, go-to-market. And that requires a balance, a scale, and a speed. Process where add value, flexibility when empower the growth, and driving transformation by putting the customer at the center is what defines a go-to-market operational excellence engine. Last, but one of the most important ones, is I encourage my team to adopt the challenger mindset that we already discussed to everything that we do, helping to drive the business forward, looking for new opportunities to do better at what we do, and empower the field that, in the sense, is our customer, where we can work more efficiently and be more productive.
So speaking of the challenger mentality for you personally, thinking about your journey at NetApp, what has been the biggest challenge so far that you have encountered as a go-to-market leader there?
The biggest challenge has been simplification. driving simplification on everything we do, because I believe it's the most powerful enablement of sales productivity in the field organization. A streamlined process, unifying the technology stack, leveraging data to empower the field and drive sales excellence and business outcome. Data-driven insights, delivering actionable intelligence that guides the seller and manage in real time. Then to make that happen, you need a unified data-driven approach to foster a strong alignment between sales and revenue operation to drive that consistency, scalability, and predictability on the business.
And how do you balance this, the need for global cross-functional alignment and the operational rigor when you are supporting NetApp's sales productivity and field effectiveness goals?
Max, global alignment operational rigor start with having a clear operating model. This is what I learned on my previous company that I mentioned, that connect a strategy and execution. And NetApp, that means building one consistent rhythm of the business from planning, forecasting, pipeline management. So all the go-to-market function operate against same set of priorities and company strategy. Aligning tools or application with the evolving go-to-market strategy to enhance performance, enable the seller, and ensure continuous improvement and share accountability. Data play a key role in having operational rigor. Insights needs to be trusted and visible across all the function, and then the alignment becomes easier. The end result or outcome is that you provide clarity to the field, a level of consistency, and a higher confidence. They know where to focus and spend less time doing reconciling manual process and spend more time to focus on driving customer outcomes.
Understood. Thank you. And speaking of your team, the reputation that it has in the market, it's very, very strong, the go-to-market ops team. What do you think makes your team unique? And maybe people are not necessarily aware of this. They just see the performance results and metrics and all that. But is there something that you would share that others can leverage if they're looking to build similar high-performing team and a similar culture?
My philosophy is ownership, accountability, and responsibilities needs to come together. When you empower the team and making very clear what they own, the level of ownership, then they become responsible to make the right decision for what they own, and then the accountability to make the best outcome for that two combination, ownership and responsibility, become a natural element. I don't believe that there is a magic formula. I believe that there is a framework that you set to the teams where they feel comfortable to take ownership on the decision that they're making. They understand the outcomes that those decisions will create, and they take full responsibility and ownership and accountability to ensure that we support the organization that we serve in the most effective way.
How do you know how much ownership to give to somebody? Let's say you gave them an ownership of something and they failed. So what happens next?
I mentioned that taking time to pause and reflect on your failure is very important. When you define ownership with the environment about how you measure ownership, it's naturally happen when if you fail, you are not blaming others. You are taking accountability, you are reflecting, you are summarizing how you can do better next time when you will be in that situation. That's the definition of ownership. You own what you can control, and then because you decide that you are going to be always taking that ownership and responsibility, you have an indicator about that level of ownership.
So it's end to end. It's not just, oh, I'm sorry, the project failed, but it's also the reflections.
What happened after?
Exactly.
The reflections is the most important piece.
Thank you. So NetApp recently went through an extensive evaluation of solutions to support complex sales operations requirements. What business priorities were most important for you when making this decision, and how did Aviso differentiate itself in the process?
And then one of our largest business priorities for revenue operation is the need to have a confidence on the forecast and have the ability to inspect the business from top to down, from analytics and pipeline perspective. When we make the decision on Aviso, we strongly believe that Aviso AI engine, as well as the wide range on application customization that Aviso has allowed us to have a double click into the areas of our business in one single tool. Aviso has done a great job to scaling together with us to ensure that our needs evolve and are fulfilled.
So one of the pieces of feedback I got from your team, Gabriel, was, Max, you need to find a better way to explain why Aviso can go live for a company of NetApp's complexity and scale globally in 6 weeks. So going live in 6 weeks, that was hard to believe in when we were starting. And the feedback to me was like, Max, you need to find a better way to explain it, because everything looked good, like AI and the workflows and cadences and capabilities, great. But we did not fully believe you and your team that you will be able to make it happen in 6 weeks. So Gabriel, now that you know how Aviso works, help me. Like, how do I convince somebody else that 6 weeks is not impossible for Aviso to go live?
And I will want to call out one thing is, when I'm looking now that I'm a heavy user, as you know, on Aviso, not daily, as more hourly, I'm doing that. Aviso at its core is designed to capture multiple data points from various sources, which has been a very vital for us. When we are looking the way that Aviso is connecting different instances, Snowflake, where we have our company data warehouse, with Salesforce, where we have the activities from the seller. This is a clear advantage on that easy deployment. And these two connections has allowed us to simultaneously present our actual bookings and live pipeline updates all in one system. And that was one of the key elements for success, to be able to deploy Aviso in 6 weeks, because the ability to embrace data in one single environment that helps you to manage your business.
Thank you, Gabriel. And can you explain how Aviso's flexibility in integrating with these platforms that you just talked about, so like Snowflake, ERP, and other core systems, contributed to NetApp's operational success and agility?
And Promise has been about the ability to combine two elements that for any sales organization revenue operation are critical. One, to understand where we are on revenue, bookings, or the flow of purchase orders. Different companies call in a different way. We call bouquet, and understand what is going to happen next in the future. And Aviso is connecting those two data sources in a way that we can see in real time where we are. I have a projection where we are going to be based on the different indicators that Aviso is aggregating together.
And what has been the practical impact of delivering rep guidance directly to sellers with Aviso, and how has this changed the dynamic of your revenue operations team?
The main radical change has been having real-time data and analytics. That has provided to the sales leadership and sales operation a competitive advantage in giving our account executive or client executive guidance what is coming next. Through the use of activity tracking, metric score, AI, pipeline analysis, we are able to do more and clearly articulate what are the next steps and actions that we need to do through the entire customer lifecycle.
Thank you. AI agents. This is one of the most talked about developments in generative AI. So how do you see it impacting the future of go-to-market operations?
I strongly believe on AI. I'm using personally, and I'm a strong advocate internally in the company to activate the different AI functionalities. AI-powered data analytics, and that enable business to anticipate customer needs with a remarkable precision, allowing them to implement proactive strategies and stay ahead of the market trends, surfacing white space account, risk, next best action directly into the seller workflow, moving to prescriptive guidance for the seller. I strongly believe that AI agents and the wide breadth of scalability that we have with Gen AI will definitely eliminate repetitive work, such updating the opportunity in CRM, forecasting preparation, meeting notes, giving seller back more time to be in front of the customers.
And what additional benefits do sellers realize when they use AI insights in Aviso or when they use AI workflows in Aviso? And how do you balance this with the need to avoid overwhelming them with too much information, too many insights?
I will characterize two things. One, be able to represent information that is part of an Aviso in a way that is easy to consume makes the difference. You are mentioning that sellers by me overwhelmed. If you are an average seller, you have a territory to 10, 12 accounts, you have the pressure to get your quota, you have customers, and then if you have a guide, data insights that tell you where will be more effective to apply the time that you have to accomplish your quota, that's provide relief to the seller. And we are doing that when Aviso. That's one component. The second component is as part of your rhythm of the business, as a seller, you have your conversation with your frontline sales manager or with your sales leadership, where you need to represent where you are on managing your opportunities. And Aviso gives you the ability to score, balance, predict, and have scenarios, what if. Those two fundamental elements and a great competitive advantage for our seller on using insights and some of the AI components that reduce their overwhelming about consuming data because we provide the data in a way that is embedded on their daily workflow.
So, and when you were looking for a solution to be able to do all of that, so you looked at everyone in the market. So you looked at, and you had Claire in some parts of your business. You looked at Gong, you looked at Anaplan, you looked at Salesforce, Einstein, etc. So why did you end up selecting Aviso?
For two main reasons. One is what we already discussed, the ability to embed data and represent in a way that is easy to consume to make decision and have the level of confidence about forecast accuracy. The other one is what you are doing as a company. You are investing on taking advantage on the data to guide the seller through different AI avatars or AI agents in order that they can be more effective in the way that they do the job. That means you combine those two elements and a revenue operation tool or application and the ability to get your sales organization more predictive because you are guiding them with coaching them. That's a powerful combination.
And let's say if somebody is thinking about embarking on a similar journey. So what guidance would you give to your fellow go-to-market leaders seeking to drive transformation and capitalize on new technologies in go-to-market operations?
I would say first, embrace data. Revenue operation is about using data for decision making and using tools that will help revenue operation and sales leader to get the information that they need. Second is leverage a platform services that help streamline operations. The third one is the technology landscape is constantly evolving. Encourage your team to stay informed about what's happening, what is the latest trends, getting updates in relevant technologies, and challenge the status quo of what you have already in place. Teams need to learn how to embrace that change. Number four, it's very important to foster a culture of collaboration where team members share inside best practice and they are willing to experiment new things. Last but not least is implement new technologies should ultimately aim at enhancing the customer experience, in this case, the sales organization. Use data as a platform services to understand the customer needs that are better tailored your operation to meet those needs effectively. And that will be my recommendation. And together with my young Gabriel suggestion what to do, I believe that that will give any fellow leaders the opportunity to make their own decision what they want to combine to improve revenue operation for the organization that they are supporting.
And what do you think the biggest pitfalls are to avoid if somebody's embarking on this AI journey for their go-to-market organization?
I will say it's changing too quickly because you believe that you have failed. It takes time to get the learnings. If you have the pressure to produce results, you might be in a situation that you might change the course. You don't know if that decision was the right decision instead of having a little bit more continuity and adjust the fund model. I've seen companies or my peers that the pressure have obligated them to change very quick without having the opportunity to really maximize the investment therefore that they have done, and they go in a continuous cycle of testing, changing, repeating, testing, changing. If you believe on something, put your very best people that have the open mindset to make it success. And that's very important, that just because you feel that you are going to fail, you step back. Don't do that.
And let's say you are about to start a transformation and you so far feel good about it. You don't think you're stretching the organization too far, but you do have this pressure from the leadership team to deliver using this AI capabilities that everybody is talking about. So if you were to recommend Aviso to another company in this situation, what would be top 1 to 2 reasons you'd give them?
I will recommend to any other company. One is the timing to deploy is phenomenal. If you have the infrastructure in place from good, rich set of data that you use to manage the business, time to deployment is very fast. Second, the ability to customize and grow with you is the second factor. And the third element is the partnership and relationship with Aviso is critical as well, because I have experienced myself the willingness of Aviso to understand our business and help us to be success. That will be the 3 main talking points why I will recommend Aviso.
And I have seen your sales leaders being very, very much on board with the transformation that you have been driving. And this is not always the case with other companies. So what's your secret, Gabriel? How do you get sales leaders on board for this journey?
There is no real secret. Always there is resistance on the journey. Always there is people that have experience, other application, other environment, other tools. And always it's very important that you invest qualitative time to explain to your key stakeholder or leadership about what is going to benefit that you provide, and keep them informed, up to date, and build a level of reputation, a level of confidence that what you say that you're going to do is happening.
How important is it to demonstrate early results, even if they're small, versus waiting, let's say, for 6 months, for 12 months, and then coming to them and say, look, here's an amazing impact that we have created?
Demonstrate quick wins, build excitement on the human being. Even that are small, people is getting that excitement, then the word of mouth is happening. People realize that you are adding that step incremental benefit, and then you spread the excitement in the organization, and that become a force multiplier. That means small quick wins are always better than wait 6 months to celebrate something.
And how do you contain this excitement? How do you manage the opposite risk? How do you contain the excitement when people come to you and say, okay, Gabriel, I just went to a conference. Here's 15 things that AI can do for you. So let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow. And you, from the operations perspective, the company is not ready for that. So how do you manage that pressure?
Because it's very important that you have a roadmap how you are going to leverage technology stack to improve the productivity or effectiveness of the organization. The conversation needs to be less about a specific tool that is available, is new, is shining in the market, in the press. It's about define what you're going to do for them in a time journey, and then they trust you that you will find the best solution that the company can afford, can integrate or deploy internally. If you accomplish that by saying, this is where we are today, in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, this is what you will be, because this is what I'm committing to you. The discussion about the shining objects that are showing in the market of the different events become less relevant. It's about the trust, the journey, roadmap, and the level of confidence that you build with the sales organization that you build, that you are listening to them, you understand their business problems, and you are willing to solve those for them to become more effective.
So for your roadmap, then how important is having a platform, an end-to-end platform like Aviso versus point solutions, so that you can have a lot of things done in one place as a salesperson, as a sales leader, versus asking people to swivel chair across multiple solutions. How important was this end-to-end platform ability of Aviso? How important was it for you when you were selecting Aviso?
Yeah, it's very important because probably you have experience that your team can say, can you deploy this? Can you deploy this small portion? Hey, I got this. I believe that you need to do that. The level of cost, maintenance, and then complexity on drive the integration through the entire sales process from lead to cash or lead to purchase order is huge. It's huge. That means having few application or platform that give you the scalability to grow and the opportunity to integrate through the entire sales process give you the level of confidence that you will be able to provide that roadmap. Otherwise, what happens is that level of integration, not evolving some of the applications, there is huge amount of things that can go grown. If you are selecting 2 or 3 main core applications that are the one that you are telling the sales organization, your day in a life or your role will sit on this application, and everything that we are going to build will be for you to stay on that place. They're more than welcome you. Sellers don't like to do one activity that are required to open and close 5 applications, 7 applications. They want to be in a workspace environment that they are getting information, data, process flows, and they are able to do the job.
Got it. Thank you, Gabriel. I learned a lot personally. I like this idea of the ownership spanning not only the project itself, but also the reflection part. And I think that's very much in line with your challenger mentality. It's like if you challenge yourself, not only the others, like what could I have done better? That's
Yeah, and Max, it's easy to blame others. It's very difficult to blame yourself.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Very difficult.
But that's how you reframe it. You say, hey, ownership does not mean you try, you get the results, you move on. No, ownership means you actually reflect on what you could have done better.
Correct.
You own it end to end. And then that's actually.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Hey, I need to go to a call, Max, for your time. And very for you, Gabriel, you will be presenting Dreamforce. I'm missing that, apologize, but I will be sending a quick note to Headless to be looking forward to it. Now your team can connect with him.
Excellent. Thank you, Gabriel.
Okay.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks.
All right, bye.